Chapter 6, Mishnah 11. At the sides of the bathhouse, there were basins of cold water that were attached to the ground, in which bathers would cool off after the hot baths. These basins sometimes contained shuvin and sometimes were full of rainwater. Even though shuvin disqualifies only a mikveh that it mixes with, and not one that it merely touches, the Mishnah will discuss a case in which a hole in the wall that separates two basins allow the shuvin to touch, and possibly invalidate the basins of rainwater. When a basin in a bathhouse is higher than the one at its side, and the lower basin is full of shuvin and the upper one is full of water, that is valid for tevila, and there is a hole in their dividing wall, then if there are 3 lugin of water contained within the thickness of the hole, the upper basin is invalidated. We're speaking about 2 basins that are adjacent to each other and are set on a slope. The upper basin is filled with rainwater, but does not contain a full 40 sa. And the lower one is filled with shuvin, and there is a hole in the wall dividing the 2 basins. If the hole is wide enough and high enough to contain within its thickness 3 lugin, then the shuvin that is opposite the hole is considered to be mixed into the rainwater of the upper basin, and will disqualify the upper basin for tevila. How much space must there be in the hole so that there will be room for 3 lugin? That is, how large must the opening in the wall be for it to contain 3 lugin of water? It must be large enough to hold 1/320th of a pool of 40 saw. A standard mikveh of 40 saw contains 960 lugin of water, and its volume is 3 cubic amos. 3 lugin of water, then, are 1/320th of a standard mikveh. 960 divided by 3 equals 320, and have a volume of 2 1/40 cubic tefachim. This means that for the hole to contain 3 lugin, it must measure 2 1/40 cubic tefachim. These are the words of Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi maintains that where the hole between 2 mikvaos is this large, the shuvin invalidates the rainwater because it is considered as if it is mixed into the rainwater. Another Tana maintains that shuvin invalidates only if it actually mixes into the rainwater. But Rabbi Elazar says even if the lower basin is full of valid water and the upper one is full of shuvin, and there are 3 lugin of shuvin within the thickness of the hole in the dividing wall, the upper basin is still valid, because the sages said that only that 3 lugin of shuvin that fell into the mikveh invalidate it. Even though the shuvin in the upper basin will naturally flow down into the lower one, Rabbi Elazar holds that as long as it does not actually mix with the rainwater in the lower basin, it does not invalidate it.